What's going on, everybody? My name is Reverie, and this is Friends episode 9, and I'm with the legend, the greatest poet of our generation, the GOAT. I'm with Shamar. How are you doing today? How
Yeah,
have you been?
yeah. I'm happy to be here. This is
Word.
cool. This is fun.
It's
Yeah.
great to have you here, man. Kilimanjaro was hyping you up crazy on that last interview, bro. And
No,
I was like, man, I have to get him on. Like, I have to get him
yeah.
on, bro.
I appreciate that. Shout out to Kill.
Yeah. Nah, no, for sure, bro. And especially the work you did on Tough Crowd.
Mm,
Right. He was citing you a lot every time he would speak on, you know, Tough Crowd, obviously, and how
yeah.
not only you helped with the process of making it, but also helping him as a person make that album, right? And I just
Word.
wanted to ask, like, how was it like, working on that project while also working on Emergency, which is your news project that came out, right? And how
Mm.
was it like? Did it inspire you in any way? Did you change anything on Emergency just because you figured it would fit better because you
Yeah.
saw it happening in Tough Crowd?
Um. Well, I mean, when I when I mixed Tough Crowd, uh, when did that shit come out? That shit come out in
So
February?
hmm
Yeah. So when it came out in February, so I was mixing it probably like December, January. Emergency was like it was in the dude who like optimized it, who sonically optimized it, gang. It was in
yeah,
his hands. So it was like I wasn't touching the album at all at that
hmm
point. But I will say that like listening to Tough Cloud has like inspired me a lot with like things I've done and written since. Just go off the
yeah,
strength of like Camille. Cause Camille is
yeah.
crazy, bro.
Camille is
Camille is
amazing,
nuts.
bro.
And I like Ben knew that, but like just
Yeah.
hearing Tough Crowd, it was just like fuck. Like
No,
she
bro.
she inspires me hella, you know.
No, and I think it's crazy that you've known about her for such a long ass time, bro. Like
Yeah.
it's honestly crazy to me because you also got to see her grow. Me and her were talking yesterday actually,
Mm.
about her best friend graduating.
Oh,
Which
word.
shout out to her best friend too, cause
Yeah, for
her
sure.
best friend definitely like Kyra definitely has influenced her, like
Mm.
Camille, so much, bro.
Yeah.
But no, huge shout out to her, right?
Mm.
And especially if I wanted to get into Emergency as well, to go a little off track,
Yeah.
um, I wanted to say that I've listened to the project I think 4 times,
Mm.
right? And bro, if I can say the feelings I had were a mixture of fear, right? Which
Mm.
of course we spoke on that, right? We spoke
Yeah.
on that being part of the concept of your project,
Mm.
right? And it also felt like empowerment too, especially on those last 4 tracks where like things
Yeah.
started like it felt like a build up to a
Mm.
conclusion, right? Which if I were to like cite another person's work here, it kind of gave me that same feeling that the transition from Plain Possum to Riot on some rap songs gave me, where
Word.
it just
Yeah.
felt like dread for most of the project, and then some like brightness. It just felt
Yeah.
bright at the end. It just felt good at the end. It just felt triumphant from everything
Mm.
that you had to go through or everything that you've seen in your life.
Mm.
And would you say that was something that was intentional for you, or was that just something that happened?
Um, I think it was kind of just like it kind of just happened. I think a lot when it comes to like writing and things like that, I kind of just well, especially like when I'm like curating projects, especially up to that point, a lot of it is just like moods based on the beats. Whatever I write is what I write.
Yeah,
But I'm like, bro, I'll like have a bunch of beats and I'll like have a note thing and I'll just arrange it by like, oh, the beats make sense here.
yeah,
And then once I write something, it's like, oh, okay, maybe like I should move this around a little bit or whatever the case might be. But
yeah,
usually I spend a lot of time just building the world around the beats and just being like, okay, I wrote about this on this track and I wrote about this on this track and I want them to come together, but I need something in between. So I'm gonna throw like an audio clip. Um, but with those like last few tracks, they were some of the last tracks I wrote for the album. I think Origin, I wrote like most of Origin, and then I just couldn't find the last two bars for my verse. And then I like wrote
Yeah.
the rest of the album, and then I was like, oh, this is what I want to say here. And then boom, I finished it. And I think at that point it was just like, oh yeah, this is like kind of uplifting in like a weird way. But it also like it doesn't feel uplifting. At least Origin doesn't. But I think of like Albany. Albany especially. Albany is like joined
Yeah.
by my kids. That's like, yeah.
Yeah.
That fills me with like a lot of positive energy and things like that, you know? I would yeah, I don't know if like but even I guess with Earl, I wouldn't even know if I'd call Riot like uplifting per se. But it definitely
It
feels
felt
like we survived. You know,
yeah,
we're alive still.
that's exactly how it felt. It
Yeah.
was just like sad triumph, where it's
Mm.
like everybody's dead, but at least I made it out.
Yeah, I
That's what it
woke up
feels
the
like.
next day. I still have to
Yeah.
get out of bed, you know,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
so you know that's something worth smiling about. I
For
appreciate
sure.
that comparison. Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah, and I don't even mean to compare because I already told
Nah,
you
you're
that I
good.
don't love
Yeah.
comparing, right? But
Mm.
I guess there's certain things that do make sense to me that
Yeah,
would probably sound better if I like not compare, but if I
you put them in conversation with one another.
exactly I put them in
Yeah.
context, right? I put two and two together, right?
Mm.
Let's get into Eagle Academy.
Okay,
Let's
okay,
take
we're
a
getting right
little
into it.
memory
We're
lane.
getting right into
Let's
it.
go
Oh my
straight to
gosh.
memory lane.
Word. Okay.
All right, which
Mm.
you this is the middle school you went to,
Yeah.
right? And you spoke a while ago on your Twitter specifically. I did a little Twitter digging. I did a little Twitter digging, right?
Yeah.
And you spoke on how bad it was, even
Mm.
describing it as mental anguish,
Yeah.
right? And
Mm.
I just wanted to ask, like, what happened in there? What was that
Well,
experience?
I gotta give context. So the reason I
Yeah.
tweeted that was, you know, you have like the for you page. The for you page don't be for you. It be bullshit. But this
Yeah.
specific tweet, it was this black woman, and she was like how she worked at a middle school,
Hmm.
and like she had to get on a teacher because like he was like yelling at the kids wild crazy, and I was like, damn, this sounds like Eagle Academy. And then so I just checked. I was like, I wonder if she's from New York, and I checked the thing, and she was from the Bronx, and I was like, word, okay, this is probably Eagle Academy. So that inspired me to tweet about it.
Mm,
But so
yeah.
Eagle Academy for young men is a group of middle schools. I think the first
Yeah.
one was in the Bronx, and then there's basically one in every single borough. I went to the one in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like a school for like it's an all boys school, but it's more specifically like really just a school for like black boys in
Yeah.
particular. Um, and their brand of like blackness is like uppity black excellence, you know, like dapping up Jay-Z and Beyonce type shit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just like did not agree with my like I wasn't even that artsy
With your
back in middle
ideology.
school. Not even I didn't have an ideology in sixth grade. It didn't agree with my like I don't know the way I was raised. My parents didn't raise me
Yeah.
like that. It's just like it was hyper militant. It was hyper masculine in like I'd argue some of the worst ways, things
Like
like that.
almost misogynistic.
Yeah, yeah, no, literally misogynistic, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, and just all of the weird shit, and then they just yelling at your face. I remember when I started sixth grade, we had this thing called like summer bridge or whatever, which is
Yeah.
basically like they yell at you all week. You like do like laps around the gym.
The fuck?
You do like
What's that?
testing so they can figure out, you know, what you don't know, whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
And the only good thing, they teach you how to tie a tie. So I know how to tie a tie. I've been knew how to tie a tie. That's whatever. That's cool.
Bruh,
And that's
that's
like
crazy.
actually
I've never
useful.
learned. I've never learned how to tie tie.
No, bro.
I I
Hmm.
actually didn't learn how to tie tie until a couple days ago, just cause prom's coming up to me, bro.
Oh,
Prom's coming
bro.
up to me, and I had to learn how to tie tie because
Yeah.
I have this really beautiful outfit. Like
Mm.
there was this model I saw a little bit ago called Wisdom K,
Okay.
right? He's really famous, right?
Mm.
But he was doing this thing where he was like dressing as different countries, and he dressed as Palestine, right?
Word. Okay.
And it just looked beautiful to me, so I made an outfit inspired of that.
Word.
Like,
Hell
but
yeah.
that's besides the point, right? That's besides the
Mm.
point, right?
Yeah.
How do you think, how big is the difference between an all boys school to a normal school? Obviously, we already know that it's an all boys school, so
Yeah.
right, that's obviously a
Um.
huge difference. But I guess more in the teaching, right? In the teachings in an all boys school, what do they
mm.
teach you in an all boys school that is different from like a normal boys and girls school?
I mean, there's nothing like, in regards to like the literal education. There wasn't really any difference. It's just like I said, niggas would just be weak. And I mean, I also say this with some level of grace. I went there. I'm fucking 23 now, so this is like almost 10 years ago that I went there. And of course, things can change and it could be a much better place now. But in my experience, it was just like, niggas would just be weird about like doing certain things and operating in certain ways that were like less
Yeah,
than masculine, especially like, on a militant tip. It was just weird. It's just weird. And then that's just not something. Well, no, that is something that you experience in like a normal school or
yeah,
whatever, but it's like a lot more emphasized and things like that. And niggas would just be saying like bullshit about women. But it's like just because it's an all boys school, that doesn't mean like all of the staff were men. There were women there too.
so they
What
be
the
talking
fuck?
shit about women in front of women.
Yeah.
Was it
And
like,
that's mm,
was it, damn, I don't even know how to describe it, but was it like pick me women where like they'd be like,
no, no.
women do this, I don't, but like women do this. Would that be
I
like the type of
mean,
shit talking that it was, or was it more like,
not really, because it never really was like strictly directed. It's more just like you're a guy, why are you acting a certain type of way type thing. And I mean that even stretches beyond that goes into like
yeah,
homophobia and things like that.
yeah?
And
Also,
just
what's
dealing under the patriarchy type
yeah,
shit and having
yeah?
to exist in that way. And I don't know,
I
the
was
school
about
is
to say
just,
that.
yeah, hyper militant, bad for my mental health. Getting yelled at all the time, I dead ass think it causes my like badass anxiety, bro. I'll never forget this one day in middle school. I like just walked into the building, and then it's
Yeah,
like in the morning we start in the auditorium, but then we go into the lunchroom for breakfast. So I'm
yeah.
walking in during that transition. So I have it's winter, so I got all my shit on, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, word. When I get downstairs, I'll take everything off. I had my hat on still. And then one of the teachers turns around, Shamar, take off your hat. Like the loud, oh my God, bro. And I think that's
That's
the moment
embarrassing.
that I
That
that I
shit's
became
embarrassing.
severely anxious.
Yeah. Oh
That's the
my god.
moment I
That's
became depressed.
horrible, bro. Oh my god. Bro. Oh my god. Did
That's a pinpoint. That was it right there.
I was gonna ask if like this experience affected your writing in any way, but like
Mm.
I'm gonna
I
assume
mean,
it did, cause anxiety, right?
indirectly, it fueled my mental health disorders, but like,
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't really like writing like poems or anything back then. I was always interested in
Yeah.
like just being a writer in the traditional sense. I was into like Percy
Like
Jackson.
writing story. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you
Okay.
know?
Yeah, nah, I also used to want to be a writer. Like, I
Mm,
mean, I don't know, cause I started rapping like really early. I started
word.
in like fourth grade, bro.
Mm,
Right? Cause obviously I grew up listening to rap. Right? I
yeah.
was talking to one of my teachers about that, where the first song that I ever learned and that I ever can remember,
Mm.
right, listening to when I was like young as fuck, was Slob on My Knob. that's that's the only song I can remember as a little kid, because
Mm,
my sister and my dad used to play that shit every fucking day, bro.
word.
They didn't even know what it meant. That's the worst part,
Mm.
because they only knew Spanish. They just really I didn't know what it meant either, bro, but I know that
Mm.
that shit was bumping though. Like, I knew it was
Yeah.
good. I knew it was good, right?
Mm.
There was a lot of music that I used to listen to that I didn't know what it meant until it was like too late. I was repeating the
Mm.
lyrics, and I got in trouble, and
Nah.
I didn't know why I got in trouble.
What my parents would do was like they would change the lyrics. I remember, fuck, I wish I could remember the song. There was some song about like popping early 2000 shit. about
Mhm.
popping champagne, and my dad was like, instead of saying champagne, we say apple cider.
That's so corny, bro. That's
That
some.
shit.
That's some. That's some like. That's good parenting though. That's good
Yeah,
parenting though.
I mean, like you used
Yeah.
to put us on game. We used to like listen to cool shit, but it's like it'd have to be
Yeah.
like censored at least for a while, you know.
Yeah.
Like I remember he was trying to like I have a memory of him like showing me some Jay-Z song, but he couldn't find the censored version. He was like, never mind, forget it.
Nah, actually, speaking of Jay Z,
Mm,
right? You had an interview a little while ago with damn, I
I don't
forgot
even
his.
know when did I speak about Jay-Z? Oh
You
my gosh.
spoke about no, you spoke about Kingdom Come.
Oh, with Mega Secret House.
Yeah,
Secret House.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, 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 yes. And
Mm,
you spoke about how '90s rap music didn't even like appeal to you as much when you were younger, like,
yeah.
like talking about Illmatic as well, how it didn't just appeal to you as much
Yeah.
as you know albums from like 2000s, right? Kingdom
Yeah.
Come is one you cited, right? And I
Mm,
wanted to ask you if do you think eras of music when it like inspiration from eras of music are
mm,
important specifically when people say like yes I'm inspired by the 90s, right? And you think it
mm,
creates depending on the era better artists, right? Because I would say I'm inspired by the 2000s, and I say the
mm.
people that are inspired of the year that I'm inspired to happen
Yeah.
to be better than people that are inspired by the 90s. But I also feel hypocritical saying that as a rapper because I know there's a lot of rappers that are inspired by 90s
Mm.
that also are just amazing themselves.
But I think this goes to a larger conversation about how we talk about time period, specifically the 90s, mainly the 90s.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I think it's less about like when I think when the average person thinks about like, oh, who's inspired by shit from the 90s? They think of fucking Joey Badass. And the
Oh my
problem
god,
isn't that Joey
yeah.
Badass is inspired by the 90s. The problem is Joey Badass isn't he isn't making good music. That has nothing to do with the that has nothing to do with the 90s. That has nothing to do with the year he's inspired from. It's just that's
Yeah.
cause the thing with the niggas who be inspired from the 90s and then it's like word, I'm just gonna repeat the same thing. I'm just gonna make like Ghostface Killer songs.
You
And it's
are the
like
greatest
but it's
person
like
I've ever
yeah,
spoken
but it's like I don't
to.
know, bro. I think of like bruh, I
Yeah.
think of like Mavi is like, yeah, I fuck with Lil Wayne. And then it's like, but Mavi isn't making Lil Wayne music,
No, it's
you
true.
know?
I
But I think that has to do with the fact that
mhm.
like old head niggas just want to hear the same thing over and over. They don't want to hear no like, bro. You could say fucking Woods is inspired by the '90s because he's inspired by Def Jux in them. You know,
Mhm.
like LP, whatever, cool. But Woods shit don't fucking sound like that because Woods
Bro,
is an artist
yeah.
who's interested in growth and development and not just
Yes. Yes.
rehashing the same fucking shit that we heard better from Nas or whoever. You
Yeah,
know.
no, bro. Speaking of Woods, he dropped man his album he dropped yesterday was amazing.
Oh, it's
I listened to
crazy.
that shit.
It's so
Yeah,
good.
bro, he had a lyric that I keep repeating where it's like 12 billion USD hovering over the
Yeah,
airspace
yeah.
of the Gaza Strip.
Mm,
You know the cost of you don't know the cost of life, but you know the cost of closing your eyelids. And I was like,
yeah,
oh my
yeah.
god,
That
this
shit is
might
crazy.
be the greatest fucking writer I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Yeah, he's that dude.
But yeah, nah. I I totally agree with you so much. I think the
Mm,
worst thing that the 90s brought was hatred. Just pure hatred. I you will never see anybody hate more than somebody that's inspired by the 90s, right?
mm,
Cuz bro, I remember like a long ass time ago, right?
mm,
I was inspired by the 90s. I was one of those kids that was inspired by the 90s, right? Not even a long ass time ago, like during quarantine, bro.
mm,
Right? I was inspired by the 90s and I never hated on rap more than because I was so inspired by what these 90s rappers had to say
mm.
ever in my life. Like I was chilling before, right, where all I would listen to was like Lil Wayne and
Yeah.
Gucci, Young Thug was another one, of course, right? Just Southern rappers, all right,
Yeah.
Southern rappers from the 2000s, right? But as soon as I got into 90s, bruh, I was such an asshole with rap. I was so annoying. I thought I was better than everyone, bro, just
Mm,
because I listened to like fucking Illmatic, right?
mm. But I think that just goes back to the way we talk about, because it's like, I
Hmm.
mean, I'm inspired by like 90s shit. There's so much 90s music that I've loved, but as there is 2000s and
Yeah,
2010s and so on and so
exactly.
forth. But
Yeah,
like, I don't know. I think about like when Illmatic finally clicked for me, when I started getting into like Doom and like The Roots and Yasin Bey and Talib Kweli and shit like that. I
yeah,
was also fucking getting into Ka, so it was like the balance between like, okay, word, I can appreciate this classic shit, but
yeah,
also here's someone in that same lineage that I think is like fucking incredible and is existing right now. Ka, Rock
yeah.
Marciano. I think that's around when I started
Hard,
getting to
hard.
like Griselda and shit like that,
Hmm.
you know?
Oh, oh,
Mm.
it froze.
Oh, okay,
It
word.
froze. Yeah,
Mm.
but big RP to Cobb, by the way. Right.
Oh yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
that shit hurt me. I was speaking to Camille about that because I
Mm.
was telling her how like I was listening to him so heavy in eighth grade, and she was like, "What
Mm.
the fuck are you doing listening to him in
The
eighth
Ka in eighth
grade?"
grade. No, dead
Yeah,
ass.
bro.
That nigga
No,
was
bro.
in the trenches.
I was tapped. I was tapped in, bro. I was tapped into so
Mm.
much shit, bro, at such a young age, right? Like I
Mm.
still, bro. I remember verses from Earl when I was like 4 or 5, because
Can
my
can I
sister
ask
would
how
set
old
them
you
on.
are?
Bro, I'm 18. I turned 18 like I turned 18 3 months ago.
This nigga is
No,
graduating
three,
high
4 months
school. Oh my
ago. Yes,
gosh.
bro, I am, bro. My prom is
I
next
I
weekend.
teach kids your age.
That is crazy.
Ugh. Earl at 4 years old is nuts.
No, bro. Like, imagine I was a jit, bro, and I was talking about
Mm,
I'm a hot and bothered astronaut. Like, I was listening to Earl. Like, I was listening to Earl when
mm,
I was like 4 or 5, just because my sister was listening to Earl,
word. Okay.
right? Because my sister older, right? My sister's like what, 22, I think.
Oh, like around
I'm
my
not.
age. Word.
Yeah, and obviously she grew up during the MySpace era, right? The
Mm,
whole thing, right? And she listened to Odd Future. She just happens to listen to Odd Future as well,
word.
right? So I got
Mm,
into that there, right? But going back to what we were talking about, right?
mm.
I had to understand, right, that 90s influenced rappers were possibly like the spawn of the devil as well. You
Yeah.
cited Joey Badass. You cited Joey Badass, and bruh, I loved Joey Badass back then, but
Mm.
I think as I grew up, and he dropped like this really short EP. It was like 2 songs.
Oh my gosh, is it the one where he's like deaf to all mumble
Mumble,
rappers?
yes, where he was like, "This is mumble rap extermination, bro."
Yes.
Oh my god, I heard that shit and I was like, "No, I can't listen to him ever
Yeah.
again." Like that's it. And like
Yeah.
even 2000 like left a really bad taste in my mouth.
It was whatever,
It
you
was
know. I
whatever,
don't
and
know. I don't even remember what year it came out, but there's like 20 million albums that are better that came out that
bro,
year.
and so many people dick ride him just because he is a 90s influence rapper, and
Yeah.
I think, and it's specifically like a subsection of like internet fans that love
Yeah.
that shit,
Hmm.
right? Cause they,
That's that shit
as
that
I,
got Logic famous. You
yes,
know?
bro. Cause like they think they're like beyond everything, and that's why I had to stop liking 90s rap. Cause I was like, I thought I was beyond everything.
But
I
see,
thought I was
you
beyond
gotta
it.
just circle back and then be like, yeah, I like it. You just gotta not be weird about it. That's all it
Yes,
is.
bro.
It'd be like, yeah, I
Yes.
like it, but I feel like listening to Nyanse right now. So go put on some fucking Nyanse.
Yes,
Then
bro.
because it's just you gotta just be normal. Them niggas aren't normal. You
Yes.
just be
Yes.
normal and you listen to music normally, like a normal person, and it'll be good.
I I hate a dude that's like my age and only listens to 90 rap. What are you talking about that you only listen to
It's like,
90s
nigga, you
rap?
don't listen to Mike? Get away from me.
Yeah. Bro, like you're fucking weird to me. Like there's no way you can tell me every fucking verse off Illmatic But you can't cite me one line from Lil Wayne, like from the Carter Three, or
Mm.
like the car. Like, there's
A
no way, bro.
song, a beat,
Like, you can't. Like,
anything, you
did
know?
the dedication tapes not move you at all? Like, did that not make you feel some type of way, bro?
Mm.
Right. But nah, man, nah, nah. I'm glad we think that way. I'm glad we
Yeah.
think that way. Right. And then
I
going back
just
to
I feel
Ka.
that way about like music, just be
Yeah,
normal.
no, of course, bro. Just be normal, bro. Just be
Mm.
normal. I still listen to 70s soul, but doesn't mean that I'm gonna only listen to 70s soul.
Yeah.
Right. But going back to Calm, because we did speak about him,
Yeah.
and you met him,
Yeah, I did.
right? Yeah, back in 2023, I think it was. Right.
Mm. I went to
My digging.
his last two pop-ups.
Oh, that ass where he
Uh
was doing the signing, right?
yeah, I met him
Yeah.
at the second to last pop-up. That was really cool. I went with my homies Sasko, Sun Moon Day, if you're familiar with
Yeah.
either. They're really dope. But yeah, and then he had the pop-up for his last album, and I went there again. It was really cool. He remembered me, which is like, oh man, he's just a nigga
Oh,
who cares.
that's some
It was
shit, bruh.
Mhm.
He's
But
he's
he,
really
bro,
dope,
you
son.
like you hear his music, but it's like seeing him in person, bro. That nigga was radiating. That nigga was just pure wholesomeness, just
Yo,
shining and
bro,
radiating, and
bro.
just so much life. And you could tell he was really like dead ass grateful, and he meant it. It was like
Yeah.
it was fire, but low-key annoying, but mainly fire because like we're online for this thing, and the line is taking forever. It's fucking raining. The at the
Mhm.
Thief Next to Jesus pop up, but it's just because like if you talk to him, he's gonna respond. So if y'all gonna have a 15-minute conversation, y'all gonna have a 15-minute conversation. Cause he's gonna make you like, yeah, I'm really grateful that you fuck with my music enough to talk to me for 15 minutes, you know?
Bro, there doesn't go a day where I don't think about him ever since he died. Even though he died recently,
Yeah.
but that shit hurt me, bro. That shit hurt
Mm,
me.
yeah.
But I just want to ask you, like, did he inspire your writing as well?
Absolutely. What the fuck?
Absolutely, bro.
Nigga
Absolutely. Of
asked
course,
me if the
bro.
best rapper ever inspired my writing. Yes.
Bro, but like,
Yeah, of course.
obviously, did he inspire your writing? Duh, right?
Mm.
But what aspects did he take from him, or not even take from him, but like, what aspects did you like when you listen to Kyle? You're like, damn, I want to write like this. I want to write how he writes, right?
I
Like,
think when I
what
first
made you
got
think?
into Ka, what like jumped out to me the most was just the wordplay. He just has lines. It's just like, oh,
Yeah.
what the one that always comes up on I notice what is it? Cops had us under microscopes because they want us to see cells.
Yes,
And then just
yes, yes.
the
I know
whole
exactly
scheme
what
there.
line. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
about like
yes.
the B12 shit. It's like, yeah.
Mhm.
Like shit like that. That was the first thing I like noticed about Ka. And then I think as I got like older and like appreciated his music more, and especially since he's passed, it's just he has like
Yeah,
lines that just kind of like punch you in the face with like emotion.
he
My
does.
favorite Ka song is Old Justice. The first line of Old Justice is we was living in the living room. And that's such a corny line, but when Ka says it, it's the best line ever. It's like,
It's
yeah,
like
we
there's
were
certain
living in the living room,
there's
you know?
certain shit that like rappers have to say that will only sound good when they say it, bro.
Exactly,
And
you
he's
know?
one of those rappers where he will say something like that, and you will be like, you know what? Yeah, like yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's like, yeah, you just summarize your whole socioeconomic experience into one line. You just did that. And I just, what the fuck? And my bones be like, oh, that was a corny line.
If you can give me 1 second, give me one
Yeah, for
second.
sure.
Help me get unlocked,
Hmm.
get unlocked.
Consistent set of dreams, sign a sober life. Confessy grind round, junction purple sky. Consistent set of dreams, sign a sober life. Confessy grind round, outsource natural light. A fiction world worth making change in. The first thing to last, my enjoyment.
Yeah, the whole socioeconomic thing and like in one line, word. Cool.
Yeah,
And
one thing I
that's
love
some
about
shit that like he would do. No one else is doing that shit.
yeah, no, no,
Mm,
bro. And one thing I love about him is social commentary, right? I love
mm,
that in rap. I love social commentary in rap, and especially when it sounds like an observation more than
A
an
judgment.
observation more than a judgment. But
Mm.
you know what side they're on. That's why I
Yeah,
loved that one Billy Woods lyric where he was like,
yeah,
"So
the
I'm a
one.
billion, you're the
Yeah,
thing."
exactly.
Like he's just letting
That's
y'all
an
know, like,
observation, but it's
yeah,
clearly like this is not a good thing.
yes, and what Ka did on, it was bread, wine, body, food, body,
Yeah,
no, bread, wine, body, blood.
the first track, Thief Next to
The
Jesus.
first track,
Yeah.
right? Yes. Um, I loved the specific, like the second verse,
Mm.
right, where he was like, and damn, I'm gonna sound weird when I say this,
Mm.
right? Because even I felt weird listening to it, but like I understood where he was coming from. Where he was like, "Now it's pussy this, ass that, all
Oh,
that shit."
yeah, I
Like
kind of like honestly, I
I
when I
I
first heard,
felt
I didn't fuck
weird.
with that.
Yeah, I
I
didn't.
I
It
mean, like, I
felt
understood the sentiment, but there was
yeah.
just, bro, he was calling niggas succubuses. I'm like, fuck, nigga, calm down. Oh my
He was
God.
mad, bro. He was
Oh my
mad.
God.
He was
Like
mad,
that felt
bro.
like a little too much smoke, you know? And I just, yeah.
Yeah. No, honestly.
I like the other verses.
No. And then when I got to that
Yeah.
verse, I felt really weird about it. I was like,
Mm,
okay, this is weird. Like, it felt weird. But then he goes like, yes, I'm all for sexual expression, but I feel like as if we're past. No, he was like, what started out as empowerment, I feel as if we're past that, right?
mm,
And speaking about, yes, I'm all about sexual expression. Something after that, right?
mm.
And
My,
I
no,
just
I feel you. Yeah.
it felt weird, but it was like, you know what? It's not that he's coming from a bad place,
Not at all. Mm.
right? He's more just, as I said, he's just observing, right?
I
He's
guess
observing
my
things for
thing
what
with
it
that
is.
is just like,
Yeah.
I just question. I just don't know if that's his place to like make
If that's his
such a
place
like.
to talk about,
Yeah, the like it's
yeah.
getting past empowerment. You're not being empowered here. This isn't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not your
it's
place to
not
tell
your
you whether
empowerment.
it's
That was my
empowerment
only
for
like,
him,
oh, whatever. But
right?
I do appreciate the general sentiment of the song,
Exactly, and
and that's what I can look at and see.
that's why I like that song so much because it's like, you know what, you trying, you trying, and I love you for it. I really do love
Mm,
you for it because, and I guess, bro, I did my final speech for my college class on
mm.
on him,
Oh,
right?
word.
Because
Mm,
specifically just talking about him as a fireman, right?
mm.
Because obviously he was there when the towers fell,
Yeah,
right? And I don't know. I feel like there's certain shit since he has, I guess, that experience in his back pocket. It feels like I have to listen to everything he says because
yeah.
he's. I feel like no one's ever gonna be as grown as him. You know,
Mm,
like in at least in the American experience, as
mm.
I feel, right? Because going through something like that, and especially like having to be the person that either saves lives or just finds dead bodies, right?
Yeah.
That shit makes you grow up,
And I
right?
mean, out of that nigga lived through crack in the 80s in Brownsville,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. This is true. This is true.
Yeah. So,
So it's
mm,
so I don't know. I feel as if like no matter what anything he says, like I'm always gonna
yeah.
like try to take it in as deep as possible,
No, for
even
sure.
if technically it's wrong. But it's like fine,
Or
like
not even right or
okay,
wrong, just like I don't agree with you
yeah,
saying, or whatever the
exactly,
case might be, you know?
exactly,
Yeah, I
right.
feel the same way, you know?
Yeah, and that's the only reason I love the song so much. Where
Mm.
it just felt like, you know
Cause
what?
like I don't know, I can't imagine like for myself. I think like when I first heard Thief Next to Jesus, it was cool.
Hmm.
But now that's like low key in like my top three for Ka. Like I think that album as a whole is unbelievable. But
No, yeah,
imagine me writing off that album because the first song has one part that I'm like, I don't really fuck with this,
like
you know?
and even then, like the next song he has after that, beautiful is
Yeah, exactly.
beautiful. It's
It's
beautiful.
beautiful,
It's
yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, cause like
Mm,
that felt wholesome, bro. It was like, I hope you have a nice life. I hope it's beautiful. Like I don't
yeah.
know. It was like, bro, like okay, bro, like okay. It hurts to see him to know that he passed, right?
Yeah.
And right, I love him to death, but
Mm,
Going back to the questions, right?
Mm,
You know, you being from New York, which I would say is the music central of America, especially for hip hop, right? Do you
mm.
think that the New York scene helps out up and coming rappers as much as other states believe y'all to support up and coming rappers?
It's interesting you say that because, like, at least just off like shit I see on the internet, it feels like niggas feel the opposite. It feels like,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess I look at it from the lens of like, I know the answer is yeah, bro. The
Yeah.
underground scene in New York is so unbelievable, bro. I go
Mm-hmm.
to a show in Bushwick and I have like a 80% chance of seeing one of the best rappers in the world. You know, and then it's
Yeah.
like you see them, and it's like cool, we're cool. I'll dap you up. We'll have a conversation
Yeah.
over like a drink or whatever. That's just the way New York is. Or like not even just best rapper, producers, DJ
Yeah.
sets. Like, you
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
immense talent of like all fucking genres and
Just
shit like that,
musicians in
you know?
general. Yeah.
And then one thing I appreciate about the scene, quote unquote, is just like I feel like there's a lot of like what is the word? Like genre overlap. Or I think there's an increasing sense of that. I don't know. One of my homies is in a band and we're planning on doing a show together, you know, like me rapping, them doing it's like
Yeah. You.
I'm bad with genres. So I guess some like some punk shit, you know?
Yeah.
But it's just like
Yeah.
word, we just operate in that same space and we have respect for each other's music. We like each
Yeah.
other's music, you know, despite existing in like different genres. And I don't know, I think New York is just like full of that. At least in my experience with like the scene and the people that
Yeah.
I keep around. Because I can only speak for the people who are around me and the places that I exist in and things like that. I can't speak up for like all of New York, nor do I want to. I think, I don't know, I think even when we talk about the underground, you mentioned underground. There's so many undergrounds. There's so many undergrounds in New York.
Yeah.
There's like,
That's why. That's why I said up and
yeah.
coming rappers, because like
Mm,
I don't like the idea of. I hate the term underground, right?
mm,
Because you would never see the term underground in any other genre. Everything else is
mm.
either indie or alternative, right?
Okay.
Hip hop is the only genre that I feel underground was popularized, and I don't know, it just feels like a it feels like a bad word to me almost. Right?
Mm.
Like it just feels like a slur. It feels like a
It
slur to me,
feels like a
bro.
slur. It's crazy.
It feels like a slur, bro. Cause it's like when you see like other people do, you know, let's just say indie rock music. It's indie rock. It's indie
Mm,
rock. You're like, you know what? Like, yeah, this dude has talent. He's gonna make it. When you hear underground rapper, you think of like SoundCloud rappers, or like just shit that
I
shit that
think
just feels as if
I
it
think the
doesn't fit.
term feels like I think the term isn't descriptive enough because like
Hmm.
you call me an underground rapper and then you also call Billy Woods an underground rapper and then you also call West Side Gun an underground rapper. There are niggas who will call Denzel Curry an underground rapper,
Yes,
you
bro.
know? And
Yes.
then it's like, how are we all the exact same
Same
thing?
catalog. That's why
I
it feels like a
yeah.
slur to me, bro. That's exactly why it feels like a slur. Like that's just a
Mhm.
music slurs that people use, right? Where it's like you will put everyone in the same catalog just because they do rap. They do hip hop, so they're all underground to me,
They're
right?
not, you know, they're not like Kendrick or like Cole or anything like that. I
Yeah.
wouldn't know if I'd use the word slur, but I also think sometimes some
Yeah,
yeah, I think
that's
slur's a
crazy. That's
crazy word.
crazy.
But
Yeah.
like I think there is like it would be
Yeah.
helpful to have some more what's the word I'm looking for? Like some more another word. I don't want to, but then that's how you get niggas being like in between ground, on other ground, and it's like
Oh
I
my
don't like that
god.
either. That's why I just like
Oh.
I'm just Shamar, you know,
You in your
just
own
say
catalog,
my
bro.
name.
Like,
Yeah, just say my
yeah.
name.
Yeah.
Describe my
Like,
music. Shamar makes Shamar music, you know?
yeah. Exactly, bro. Like,
Mm,
exactly. Like, I hate when people say, like, oh, yeah, he makes underground rap music. Like, what is underground rap music?
mm,
What could it sound like? Just be like,
mm,
oh, yeah, Reverie makes music like Reverie, bro. Like,
yeah.
Shamar makes music
And
like
it's
Shamar.
and I think even when it comes to like other genres, the little bit I know is that it also is like a nod to like maybe the sonic quality.
Yeah.
because of like the way they recorded and things like that. And then it's
So like
like,
lo-fi or hi-fi.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I feel like in the underground, that's just not the case. Like Mike
Mm-hmm.
makes music that's pretty lo-fi. Sometimes Mike's music sounds like
Yeah.
shit, but it's like
Yeah.
it's not like shit in a like, oh, this is bad, but like shit isn't like the technical sonic. It's not hi-fi, but like backwood shit is pretty more so hi-fi, and that's
Yeah, it
intentional.
is.
Especially the shit that like Willie Green touches. He wants to make
Mm-hmm.
a certain brand of hi-fi music that's still like hi-fi music. At least that's my
Yeah.
understanding of his philosophy. You know,
Yeah.
so it's like it's that's like you can't even mention like the sonic quality of the music to call it underground. So it's like
Yeah.
what makes it besides some vague notion of popularity, but if it's like these niggas are doing world tours every single year, you know,
Yeah,
like
Mike
what are
does
we talking
world
about?
tours every year, and you're telling me he's underground? Like that feels weird to me. Like it's
Yeah.
like he to me he's pretty mainstream. Like if you got somebody doing world tours,
Mm.
500 people plus in your audience, why would I call you underground?
Yeah.
Right? Or
Mm.
like West Side Gun has a song with Travis Scott with fucking everyone. That's not
Yeah.
underground to me. And even then, like I don't I don't fully love West Side Gun, right?
Mm.
If like hot take, right? I don't fully love him because I feel as if his addiction, like it feels as if he wants to be underground, right? Because he
Mm.
does the same shit that like others, like quote unquote underground rappers do, right? Let's just say
Mm.
like they're dropping like 3 albums a year, or at least he doesn't do that now. But he used to do that a lot back then, where
Yeah.
he would drop like 2, 3 projects a year and call it a
Mm.
day, right? Or he would just be like loud as hell on Twitter, right? Just loud as hell on
The two
Twitter.
components. That's what it means to be
Yes,
underground. Drop a
yes.
lot and loud as fuck on Twitter.
Which, yeah, those are the 2 components. But yeah, bro,
Mm.
like it's like you don't feel underground to me, but it's like you want to force yourself back into the underground.
Well, I mean, I think that also goes to like a question of like I feel like that's an interesting question of like what it means to be underground because like
Mm-hmm.
forcing yourself back in because you can also think about like sonic quality and things like
Yeah.
that. We talked about some rap songs.
Mm-hmm.
Some rap songs intentionally sounds like shit. Earl went out of his way
Yeah.
to make it sound like shit. But then, Feet of Clay aside, you go to like Sick. Sick is the literal opposite. Sick was
Yeah.
like, I want this shit to sound good as fuck. I'm getting the
I
best
love
niggas to
sick.
mix and master it. And then you go to like the
Yeah.
the Alchemist project, which sounds like
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about the project, but it sounds like an Alchemist project.
You
You know,
don't like
um,
that project?
no, no.
Oh.
I don't. I don't know if this is a safe space for my Alchemist takes.
Nah, you know what? You know
uh,
what, bro? It's a safe space for everybody, bro. If they want to
I
hate, they can
just
hate.
I just feel like Alchemists don't hate me. I
Yeah.
think you've made amazing beats. But I also feel this way about West Side Gun. I feel this way about like a lot of bigger rappers in quote unquote the underground, where I kind of wish they would like slow down. I wish they would
Yeah.
drop less, make less, be more, I guess, considerate with their releases and like the way they what am I trying to say? Their collaborators and their collaborations
Mm-hmm.
and things like that because I feel like shit is getting like it's cool, it's impressive to see someone drop 4 albums a year.
Yeah.
But it's more impressive when someone drops one really fucking good album every 2 years, you know?
That's realistically one of the reasons why I stopped loving Boldy James as much.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
I loved Boldy James. Boldy
Hmm.
James was one of my favorite rappers ever. He was my
Yeah,
favorite rapper on Griselda,
word.
right?
Hmm.
But bruh, he dropped like 5 projects this year. I
Hmm.
can't keep up, and that makes me not want to keep up because he's gonna
Hmm.
drop another one next week, making it his
Hmm.
sixth project. I don't want to keep up with that, bro. Like that's a
I just
lot.
I just feel like I think there's nothing wrong with not keeping up. I think it's just like, bro, just don't. I kind of feel that way. Like we brought up. I kind of feel that way about Mike. I'm still on Burning Desire. I'm still. I mean, like I heard Showbiz, and it just didn't move me. So I'm like, word. I'm on Burning Desire. Burning Desire is
No,
sick.
bro. Showbiz moved me when I went to that when I went to his concert.
Maybe
And
I just need to see it. I was so like,
you
this
need
is
I
so
think yeah.
whatever.
I think you may need to hear it live because man,
Yeah.
when I heard that album live, it made me
There are
really
joints on there
nostalgic.
that's like, oh yeah, this really hits, but it's like, I don't know. Burning Desire is like peak music to me.
Burning Desire is, in my opinion, his greatest album. Oh my
I'm
god, I
getting
can't
to
believe I
that
missed that
point.
project.
I'm getting to that
Yeah,
point.
I always thought it was Weight of the World, right?
Oh, see, you're just like me. You're just like me. Yeah.
Bro, no, I heard that project in like seventh grade.
Weight of the World is seventh grade. You just made me feel old as fuck. Ew. Ew.
I heard that project in seventh grade because I was like deep into Earl, bro. I was like,
Yeah.
bro, and I was like, okay, I heard Earl's song. I heard All Star. What does
Yeah.
this whole project sound like? And I realized
Mm.
that this dude was just the greatest rapper ever. Like he was just the
Mm.
greatest
So
rapper
that
and
was
just
your
the
first
greatest.
mic project?
That was my first mic. That was my
Okay,
yeah. That was
word.
my first mic project. That wasn't my first time listening to Mike. That was just my
Okay.
first mic project, right? Because I
Mm.
heard God's with me, right? Like recently, I went through my SoundCloud like sections, and I
Yeah.
found like everything I used to like when I was like in middle school, right? And I
Mm.
just found like God's with me. It was I think there was another song called Hunger, right, by
Oh yeah,
Reverie.
that's on what is the tape called?
War in My Pen, I think.
No, this before
No,
War
it
in My
wasn't War
Pen.
in My Pen.
Oh, why
It
am I
was that
blanking
one
on
where
the
they're like
name?
in the bridge. It was the
Yeah,
one where
yeah,
they're in the bridge.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
his breakout. It's his breakout. I forget the name, but
Yeah,
it's his
yeah.
breakout.
But like Weight of the World was that project that
Yeah.
I think I needed to listen to at the time. I
Mm.
needed to listen to that project in quarantine. And
Yeah.
it just resonated with me. And then Burning Desire came out 2023, which
Yeah.
oh my god, bro. Oh my god. Oh my
Mm.
god. If we can get into that project real quick, bro.
Yeah, bro. Fuck it.
What
All
is
right,
what
look,
is
okay. What you know what's so crazy about Burning Desire?
yeah.
On rapping, bringing the Alchemist back into this, because he dropped that project with like Wiki and the Alchemist, and I was like, oh, this is
Mhm.
cool. But then he dropped. How do you just dropped a better album? He just
Like
like 3 weeks
you
later,
like
and then
oh my god, bro. Oh my god,
and then
that
that's my point, because it's like Alchemist. How'd you let this happen? How'd you let the dude on your album just drop a better album
bro,
three
I
weeks later?
I felt like on the wiki project,
mm,
like Mike usually sounds tired, but
mm.
on that project he sounded bored, bro. Like he just sounded bored. Like he was like, I guess I'll make this. I guess I'll make this. Fans want it. I guess I'll make it, bro.
Mm.
Right? Which it probably wasn't the case, but that's what it
No,
felt
not
like
at
to me,
all.
right?
But
But
yeah.
and then when he, bro, just listening to
Mm,
that first song, right?
mm.
Just like the way the beat comes in and
It
the
was
way
like
his voice
the
comes
kids
in.
cheering or whatever. Yeah, bro.
Yes.
You
It
can't.
just it felt like
Aura.
that project felt like home. Like that project feels
Yeah.
like home, bro. And then Please
Mm.
Don't Cut My Wings, like in like that project also.
Did you ever see the website for Burning Desire? Bro, I hope it's still up.
No,
Cause like
bro.
one thing that I think that even for like showbiz and stuff that I wish would get like
Hmm.
talked about more is like Mike really be world building with like his projects. Like with Burning
He's
Desire,
very
the whole
creative.
thing was like this African mask or whatever. It was like
Oh
he
yeah,
being possessed by
yeah,
it or some shit. You see it on the
yeah.
cover and shit. You know,
Hmm.
in the music video, it's like a slasher for show me
It's like
you what
it's
you
like
say
it's
you want. Yeah, it's like a slasher video or
yeah,
whatever. And then it's
yeah.
like Mike is the killer? Question mark. You know? And then
It just
yeah.
felt good, bro. I love the way he does that shit, and I love one thing
Mm,
that I feel like should be talked about is YouTube releases when it comes to albums. When you drop
yeah.
a full album and there's a visual on it, I automatically know that you're the greatest rapper ever and you
Mm.
love doing this,
He did
right?
that shit for disco. The disco
He
one is
does
really cool.
he does it. He did it for every album. For
Yeah.
every Weight of the World had one, which wasn't even that crazy. It was just him like sitting on a window or something, right?
Yeah.
Disco had one. Obviously, Burning Desire had one. Showbiz had one,
Yeah.
right? The creativity to do that and the time it probably takes to get all of that
Mm.
is insane to me, and it really shows how much care he puts into this work,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
One project I wish I got in like more into, but I just
Mm.
feel like I don't know. It doesn't. Maybe it's just because I don't understand it. Is
Mm.
Beware of the Monkey, right?
I
We're
think
like,
Beware the Monkey is really cool.
I think it's cool, but it's
It
like I
feels
don't.
it feels a
It
lot
didn't resonate with
more.
me for some reason.
Yeah, it feels a lot more like I don't want to say strip back isn't what I want to say, because that's not
But it's
necessarily, because
that's
there's a lot of songs that's like it feels different than
yeah,
the other Mike projects in a way that's
yeah.
like
It just
really unique to it. There are some joints on there that I fucking love. Obviously, nothing I can do is wrong is like top
yeah,
five Mike song.
for sure.
There are other joints on there. Yeah, it's an
And
interesting project.
it is an interesting project because I do think that
Mm.
in a way I just feel like he made that project because he needed to ramp. Right. It's
Mm.
like one of those projects, like one of those projects you make on the side that isn't supposed to be released, but you just make it because you need a rant about something, right?
Mm.
I don't know if you do that where you just like make a bunch of songs just ranting about the same thing. That's what I feel. Man, I do that so much. It's like a diary. I treat music like a diary, right?
Mm.
But it just felt like he just needed to rant about
Mm.
his life, and that's why I feel like I can't connect to it because it's not my life. I don't.
Mm.
There's probably other people that could connect to it because it resonates with them a little bit more, right?
Mm.
But it just doesn't hit me as much as
Word.
maybe, right, something like Weight of the World does, right? But
Mm.
I think everybody, the reason why that album is so praised by other Mike fans is
Mm.
the fact that it was quarantine and
Yeah.
everybody was going through the same thing he was going through,
Mm.
right? And that's why everybody loved it so much.
Mm.
But yeah, that's just how I feel about Beware the Monkey. I just
Word.
I don't think I was supposed to resonate with it. I just don't think I
Mm.
was supposed to resonate with it. So
Mm.
as of recently, um, I guess after the Billy Woods drop, right?
Yeah.
Um, there has been this term that has been used to generalize Billy Woods' project, right? Called post
Mm.
rap, right?
That shit corny. Yeah, no, no. But we also need to talk about it proper. That first time, at least the first time I heard the term, injury reserve,
Of course.
and they did the one
By the time I get to Phoenix,
yeah, yeah, they
yeah.
did that, and niggas was
What,
talking about post rap. I was like, that's bullshit. Shut the fuck
bruh?
up.
By the way, that's one of my favorite projects
Oh yeah,
ever.
that shit's incredible.
I hate the term post rap, cause
Yeah,
what
that
does that
shit's
mean? What does that mean,
that shit.
bruh?
That see, that feels like a slur. That feels racist. It's like
Is post
these are
rap
the
just like something white people can
intellectual
consume?
niggas.
Like,
Yeah,
is
they're
this
like,
something
yeah,
white
this
people
is
can consume?
intellectual rap. So it's
Yeah.
better than the hood rat shit. That's what the fuck they're saying.
Like that's like to me that just feels as another way to like I don't know talk about abstract hip hop, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? We're like, bro, if you're gonna call this post rap, then like, oh, Mad Villainy, greatest post rap album ever. Please, bro, please. What are you talking about, bro?
Mm. But and you know what's crazy? And you know what's
Mm-hmm.
crazy? That like if niggas would do that too, like they'd be like, yeah, they would like retroactively make like Mad Villainy post rap, but Mad
Mm-hmm.
Villainy and like anything Wood stuff, Mad Villainy is so regular. I mean,
It
it's
is
like it's dope,
so
it's
regular.
amazing, but it's also like
It's
Madlib's on his ones and twos, and
yo,
Doom's
I
on his ones and twos.
I guess it's
You
just because
know?
I make more complex music than Mad Villainy. But I feel
What?
like that's normal. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
taking anything away from Madlib, by the way. I'm not taking anything away. I
Mm.
love Madlib to death. One of my like top three favorite producers, right?
Yeah.
But it just feels normal. It's like like it's shit that makes
It's just
sense.
really fucking amazing. And what Doom
Yeah.
and Madlib are doing are really fucking amazing. Just like what Woods is doing is really amazing. Just like what Injury Reserve did is really amazing. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't post rap feels like weird and disrespectful. And
Post rap is a slur.
it also feels like disrespectful to
Yeah.
like the song craft as a whole, because it's
Yeah.
also I think also a commentary on the song craft. And then it's like, oh, this nigga's rapping in a weird way, so this is post rap. but it's like
What is
yeah,
that's the thing. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. If that's the case, then from 90s hip hop to 2000s hip hop, that's post rap. That's
because
that's
then
post
because
rap
then
to
that's just
90s
like what
rappers, right?
yeah.
And then from people like I don't know what 2000s, right?
Mm,
Outkast's projects, and then going
yeah.
to I don't know, Lil
Like,
Wayne.
are we gonna call the Love Below post rap? Like, is this what we're, it just goes to like shit, and it's like, nah, that's dumb. But that just goes to like what we were talking about with the underground too. And I think
Yeah,
that's just like, I don't know, man. I feel like white people, they just want to like define things, and it's like, oh man, this shit needs
bro,
definitions
it's
and
because they
comparisons. It's so lame, so
they
annoying.
need something to fall back on. They need something to fall
Yeah, they
back
can't
on.
just be like this shit. One thing I've always appreciated about like, bro, one of my good friends,
Hmm.
she's like hella into music too, but she like I'll send her something and she'll just describe like, oh, this makes me feel like a summer breeze, and I'm sitting in the
Oh my god.
sand or whatever, and it's like, we're bro, one of my fucking homies compared Emergency to like, or like my writing on Emergency to like the work of this specific director, and it's like, word, now I have a bunch of movies to check out, you know, like that's cool and interesting and
Who was
not
the director, if you can remember?
I don't remember. I'm a little. I'll probably text you about it later.
Bro, you know what? When I was listening to
Mm,
Emergency, it did remind me about a director. But especially after we started talking about movies, right?
yeah,
And like world building and albums and how, movies is
yeah.
another way, another art form, right?
Mm,
That does that, of course. Bro, there's this director. Well, he wasn't even a director really. He was more of a painter, but he just directed movies as well.
mm,
His name, he's pretty popular. His name was Akira Kurosawa, right? He has
mm.
this like 3 hour long movie, most
Okay.
confusing shit I've ever watched in my life, bro. But it had so like it was so crazy. It was just so confusing that it made me feel like this makes sense,
Mm.
right? And he had this movie called Dreams that I loved, bro. I'm gonna send you a link after
Yeah,
this.
shoot me.
Yeah,
Shoot
I'm
me
gonna
it.
text you it, right?
Mm.
So, hold up. This was a long question,
Okay.
right? So let me make sure I have it. Okay. So we spoke a bit on comparisons, and
Mm.
you had a bit of opinion on that, right?
Yeah.
Especially, as we just finished talking about movies, right? You did speak about how movies can be compared to rap albums and other albums in
Yeah.
general, right? And how you think that no, how I think that comparisons are what dooms a creative because there's a huge disconnect on how to pay homage to your influences,
Mm.
right? And I always had an idea that there's a huge difference between influence and inspiration, right?
Mm.
Where I think if you say, like, let's just say I'm influenced by Young Thug, does not mean my music is like Young Thug, right?
Okay.
Right. But like if you're inspired by something, then that means you're definitely gonna hear that, right?
Okay.
And I just want to ask, do you feel that way in a certain aspect? And what do you think about comparisons in general?
Um, I actually feel like that's really useful language. So I actually appreciate that. Just like the difference
Yeah.
between like influence and like inspiration. And I like that like difference. Because I would say that I would, if I were to use that right now, I'd be like, my music is like inspired by Elucid in the sense that
Yeah.
like, bro, I fuck with Elucid so heavy. I just feel like, yeah, I not
Yeah.
on a track like what would Elucid do, but it's like, I don't know. I hear his shit and it's like, fuck, this is unlocking things in my brain. I could go do
Yeah.
things now,
Yeah.
you know? But I think my music is inspired by like inspired by like my friends and like inspired by like me being at my bum ass job, inspired by poets I love,
Yeah.
conversations and things like that. Um, in regards to comparisons, I don't know. I think comparisons can be useful for like the actual person creating. It kind of just
Yeah.
depends on the context, especially if it's like a new compare. Even if one of my favorite rap journalists, shout out Dash Lewis, he was talking about Emergency, and he brought up Charms, the song by Arm and Hammer.
Yeah.
I don't remember the other thing he brought up, but he brought up like two or three things I knew, and then one album that I've never heard of before. And I was just like, word, this is an album I've never heard of. I'm just gonna go listen to it just off the strength of you, Dash. And like that's a useful comparison because it's like, word, now what can I pull from this album that's like not even just seeing why Dash compared it, but just like what can I get out of this album? But if you like,
Yeah.
I remember when Sunscreen came out, I saw a screenshot from Reddit, niggas talking about Sunscreen. They were comparing me to like Mike and Earl. And I was
Oh
just
my
like,
god. I
that's
remember this.
absolutely
I remember
useless.
this. I remember this.
That
Hold
was
that thought because
yeah.
I gotta give my mom back her charger. So give me 1 second. Give me one
Word.
second.
Yeah.
So remember seeing that on your I don't know if it was your Twitter or your Instagram, right?
Mm.
And me and Camille actually had a conversation about this because
Yo, real quick, maybe I'm tripping.
yeah.
You sound mad different.
Oh, I know why.
1 2 4 1 2 4 1 2 4.
So I remember speaking to Camille about this, and obviously
Mm.
when she made Tough Crowd, right? She showed it to a couple people, and they were comparing it to same artist, the
Yeah.
same Mike and Earl,
Yeah.
right? And how she feels like that's such a backhanded compliment.
Oh
Like
my
that's
God. No, actually, no. I'm not gonna say. I'll tell you. I'll tell you when we're done recording. I'm not.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna fuck up her bag. But no. Go ahead. Yeah.
And she just feels like it's a like backhanded compliment because like yes, I do love these two artists, but tell me one song that sounds like let's just say
No,
Side
but dead
Eye that
ass.
Earl made,
Dead
right?
ass. And it's
Like
like,
what?
okay, yeah, the beat is like soulful, whatever, whatever. But if you're gonna compare Camille to rappers, then let's actually compare her. She don't sound like those niggas, bro.
She don't sound like that, bro. What
She
the
don't
fuck are you
sound like those niggas. She don't
talking
rap like those niggas at all.
about, bro?
You know?
Like what the fuck? What does that mean? Like what
Mm,
does it mean when you get compared to Mike and Earl? Like yes, I love these rappers so much.
mm.
What the fuck? Like
They
what
they
are
were
you
saying
talking about?
I was a black dude with dreads. That's all they were saying.
That's why you had to cut them off. You're like,
Earl cut no, but then Earl cut it off too. So I'm still like that nigga.
bro. Bro, I remember when I still had my curls, I did space buns with my curls because man,
Mm,
I miss them still. I miss my
mm.
curls, right? But bro, I did that shit, and the first thing that came out of my mom's mouth was like, "You look like Bad Bunny," right? And then,
Dog.
bro, my mom's like dead Hispanic as fuck, right?
From your
She
own mom's is
from
crazy.
my own mom, and I was like, I look nothing like him, bro. I look nothing like it's just, bro. There's just like it's like comparisons that don't even make sense, bro. And
Mm,
that's what I'm trying to get at. It's like I obviously spoke with you and I said like yeah like even though I hate comparisons you do give me Billy Woods like Arm& Hammer vibe. At least I was in the
mm.
ballpark. That's the important part. I was in the ballpark. Right. I was in the ballpark.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
But is are comparisons useful as artists?
I just like I said, it dead ass just depends. If it's someone I've never heard of, that's like
Yeah.
already like 20 times more useful than like
Yeah.
someone I know, you know,
Yeah.
because it's like, bro, I can like at least that gives me like a new discography to go explore and listen to.
Yeah.
Or if it's like I said, it's more useful when it's like a medium I don't even exist in. You said, oh yeah, Shamar, you said something and it reminded me of this book. I'm about to go read a book, you know? I'm about to go watch a movie.
Yeah.
Or, you know, versus like, yeah, I should go listen to some rap songs again. I was gonna go do that anyways. You know? What the fuck?
Bro, nah, man. I
Mm,
because I used to rap like Earl, right? I'm not even gonna hold you, bro. Like I used to rap like Earl, right?
mm,
But some rap songs is one of those albums where even if they compare, like even now, if they compare me to that album, I'll be like, you know what, I'll take it. Like
Yeah.
I have so much respect for that album that anything will slide for me. If you tell me
Mm.
that I sound like that album, anything.
Mm.
I have so much respect for that album. But
Word.
no, I I always felt that way, that comparisons
Mm.
are just the doom of creativity for artists.
Yeah.
But now that I'm thinking about it, I also feel like comparisons are important. Now that I'm really now I'm about to like juxtapose myself,
Mm.
because I remember that I used to get compared to Denzel Curry.
Mm.
I hated it. Hated that. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm.
I hated that because I sound nothing like Denzel Curry. Nothing.
Mm.
Right. But that really helped me grow as an artist because like I do not want to sound like I don't want to sound like him. And there's like no hate to Denzel Curry because I don't listen to his music as much as I used to. Right. I
Word.
grew up. Right. I grew up.
Mm.
I grew up,
Yeah.
bro. I grew up.
Mm.
And I guess, but I have a lot of respect for him because he did a lot for Miami. I ain't gonna
Yeah.
lie. Like he
For
did do a
sure.
lot for Miami. Right.
Mm.
So I gotta give it to him. But in other words, right, or
Yeah.
to the next thing, right, the features on your album. You
Mm.
spoke about these features on your last part on the last interview before the Kilimanjaro one. I'm
Yeah.
planning for Anti one, right?
Mm.
And Money for Water back on the outro track,
Yeah.
right? Back on the outro track. You did that with Obtuse Ways.
Mm.
Obtuse Ways to Love. I think that's the name,
Obtuse
right?
ways to say that I love you.
Yes, to say that I love you. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I'm
No,
so
you're good,
sorry.
bro. It's long
Yeah.
on purpose. You're good.
And obviously again with Emergency.
Mm.
What what was the thought behind that? Like,
Putting money for water on the outro.
yeah. I'm gonna ask
Um.
you more about other features
Yeah,
as
for sure.
well. Yeah.
Um. Well, I will on one level, referencing both albums. I just thought it
Yeah.
was like a cute little nod. I had
Like,
this joke after I did Obtuse Ways and like had that outro, and that outro is basically a Money for Water track. This
yeah.
is more his track than my track, and I was like, bro, it'd be funny as fuck just to have Donovan Money for Water on like every
Yeah.
single outro for my album. I just think
Yeah.
that'd be like cute and funny and like a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
But with this track, Origin, I just like I just heard him on the beat and I was like, I don't know. I just feel like this is something that should exist. And then when I actually got the verse, I feel like he brought the album together. He ended it so perfectly because I feel like even though there's mad features on the album is like hella insular. Everyone's in their own little bubbles and the bubbles are
Yeah.
interacting and shit. But
Yeah.
Money for Water is like, no nigga, go outside. And this is what's outside. This is what's urgent and important. And this is what
Bro,
niggas need to be talking about,
I
you know?
have so much love for him, bro.
Yeah.
Cause
Mm.
and bro, he doesn't even know me. He doesn't know anything about me, I think.
Yeah.
I think the only person that like in this feature list that even knows anything about me is probably like Jay Cinema, right?
Word.
Cause he posted, I don't even think he knows that it was me, right?
Mm.
But he posted a story that had my song on it, and I was like, oh, he,
Yeah.
he knows me. Oh, oh.
Yeah, man. Shout out Jay.
But
Mm.
yeah, but I I went to his discography when he had dropped that song. When he dropped that album with Camille, right? When he had that
Yeah.
feature with Camille,
Traveling
right?
light. Mm.
Yeah. And I listened to it and I was like, wow, this is incredible. This is why that's one of the main reasons he's like one of my dream interviews, right? Because
Mm.
I want to ask him specifically about the fact that he releases everything on Bandcamp um after a couple time, right? Well,
Mm.
he takes out everything off of streaming and then just keeps them in Bandcamp
On
after some
Bandcamp.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which honestly I love the idea of that.
Yeah.
I do think fans should support their artists.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, right.
Especially someone like Money for Water, who's like stellar, you know?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. And man, I if I were to say something about the verse for Origins, for one, I think you are so selfless for letting him take over the outro track, right?
Oh man, yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Hold up,
whatever. I
give me.
was like, yeah.
So, right, um, I think you're so selfless for letting him take over the track, right?
Mm,
Because for one, this being your album, right, letting another person be the final words you hear on like your own project, it feels like it makes the album feel more personal. Because it's
mm,
things that you would like to say, but you can't say. So you have someone else say it for you,
yeah.
right?
Mm,
And that's at least the way I saw it, right? With,
mm,
Origin, right? And then your last project wasn't, it didn't have the outro like this, in my opinion. Like you obviously had more to say than on
yeah.
Origin, right? And I love that
Or,
creative decision
well,
of yours.
I wouldn't say I had more to say. It was just I
Nah,
just
it's
happened to
not.
end it.
Yeah, exactly.
I had the
That's
last word. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Right. And I don't know, man. I love the idea of that creative decision of yours. And I'm like, I don't know. I
Mm,
don't know how to describe it. I just love the idea of yours. And then
mm,
you spoke about BCV baby, right? I think you said that was your girlfriend?
yeah.
Okay. I'm not wrong. Thank you. Thank you, Lord. Right. Um, you spoke about that and you spoke how you really wanted a singer, right? So I'm not gonna ask you for that since you did basically explain that, right?
Mm.
I did want to ask about Beagle,
About
right?
who? Bagel?
Bagel? Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
Bagel, right? I guess the main question is like, why Bagel?
Why bagel?
Not even like on
Yeah.
like no weird shit, but like why?
No, okay. No, yeah, yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. Well, I mean, bagel is like an integral part to the career of Shamar.
Yeah.
Bagel is like,
Yeah.
I met Bagel at a Billy Wood show actually, like right before I started
Okay.
rapping, and we were just like cool mutuals. Bagel is like if you go to a show in New York, you
Hmm.
have a 80% chance of seeing three people. Bagel, Bagel's partner Julissa, who did the album cover,
For
and
real?
yeah, she took the photo.
Fire.
And then J Cinema. You go to a
Hmm.
rap show, you will see
Yeah.
one of, if not all three of these people, you
Yeah.
know? So yeah, so just meeting Bagel, and then I started making music. Bagel was just like, oh, I'm interested, and I made hella beats, so like we wound up doing a tape together. And I guess like I've just seen Bagel get like so much better over like the past year and some change that like we've been cool and that they've been rapping. So
Hmm.
when I got that beat, I already knew I wanted Bagel on the album. When I got that beat from Millennium, I was like, this is the one. And then I wrote my verse, and then I was like, word, I'd sent the demo to Bagel, and Bagel hit me with this shit. I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, bro. No, it
Oh
was
shit.
crazy. I remember hearing it for the first time, and I was like, "Oh, let me." I had to like straighten my posture because I was like, "Okay, I gotta
Yeah.
listen. I feel like I gotta I gotta pay attention to every word." Not saying I
Yeah.
wasn't before, but I was like,
No,
"Okay,
no, yeah.
there's
Yeah,
some
niggas niggas
there was like a
is
shift in the chakra lines
niggas
right there."
that one look, I feel like I think Destroy Build Destroy is my favorite verse. Like for me, I think it's my favorite verse on the album. I think it's
Yeah,
that track.
yeah,
And then from Bagel, that's probably my favorite. Oh no, Bagel has some unreleased shit that's like
yeah,
really going pound for pound with that one. But Destroy Build Destroy is probably it's up one of my favorite Bagel verses. That shit is like so unbelievable. So nuts.
yeah. What do you think was
Mm.
the like biggest difference between your two projects? Like other than
Uh
time, I know we spoke on time, right? But I guess just on the
yeah.
process of making it, what was like the
Oh,
biggest
okay. I
difference
was
for
about
you?
to say emergency is good. Obtuse ways is some mid.
Bro, no,
Uh, Mm,
sorry to cut you off.
yeah.
I used to think that way about my projects until I started looking at it as like my babies. Like these are my kids,
Mm.
bro. It's like,
No, no, these
man.
are my kids, and I don't like obtuse ways. I don't like that kid. I like sunscreen. I
Yeah.
like emergency. I like my first kid, my way first EP. The rest of
Hmm.
them shits they submit. Actually no,
Yeah.
I have another quick thing I did, but okay, that's not the point. That's not the point.
Yeah.
Talking and actually answering your question. I feel like the difference is emergency is just like way more personal. I think obtuse ways has like glimpses of that, and I don't think it's because I was more guarded on obtuse ways per se. I think I just became a much better writer. Or no, not even that I became a better writer. I I finally figured out how to rap with sunscreen. On sunscreen, I figured
Yeah.
out how to rap. And
Yeah.
then like I really figured it out. And then emergency was like now that I figured it out, I can like really dig into it and I can like really write everything I've been wanting to say
Yeah.
unapologetically and still make it like cool and wholesome and dope and shit, but also like I just figured it out. That's what really all it is. I just really figured it out. Even on the shit that I've like the little demos and things I've done since
Hmm.
emergency,
Yeah.
it's like yeah, I just feel so much more comfortable. So now I can like explore even more and try new things because I know that like I got it and I
Yeah.
get
What
it and
made
I'm
you a
gonna
better
continue to
rapper?
get it.
Like, what would you say made you a better rapper? Experiences?
Um, in part my experiences, I think performing's made me a better rapper. I
Hmm.
think having access to a stage and being able to mess with my voice a lot more
Yeah.
has made me like do that on tracks a lot. That's how you get like Mo Better Blues. I
Yeah.
think if I didn't perform, I would not be yelling on a track in that way, you know?
Yeah.
I
That was
think
low key the reason why I asked you about like the New
mm,
York, up and coming rapper scene. Because
yeah,
like you've had a good amount of performances, right?
yeah,
Much more than a lot of people can say they have, right?
mm, yeah,
Bro, it it's incredible that you get to perform. And I always find so much joy in my heart when people that I
mm.
see, that I know are able to succeed like that.
Yeah,
Because
I
it
appreciate you.
is gorgeous, bro. And I love that you're performing. And I would love to see you live one day. I would love to see you
Hopefully,
live,
bro.
bro.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, if I go to New York one day, hopefully,
Oh
bro.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I was trying to say, yeah, I think on the notion of that, just like my friends being like, I'm in regards to like the amount of time spent rapping, I'm
Mhm.
significant. Like Jay's been rapping for much longer than I have.
Yeah.
People like Big Flowers have been rapping for much longer than I have. A lot of my peers rapping for longer than me. So they have their own perspectives on the way they approach tracks. And then it's just like
Yeah.
learning lessons from them. And it's like word incorporating that. And I think like yeah, I think even just having like I wasn't the main or I wasn't the only with obtuse ways, it was really like still like my singular vision. But with emergency, there was a lot more hands in the pot or whatever. Outside House, who produced a good
Yeah.
majority of emergency. I was
Yeah.
bouncing pretty much every single idea off of her. To the point in which there were some joints where she's like, nah, do the take again. And shit like that. Like you can do a better take than this
Yeah.
type thing. And that's something I've like grown to like, man, let me actually deeply consider that I wasn't thinking about before. So I
Yeah.
think that's helpful, you know. And then also like not only are there more hands in the pot, but they're all like people I'm like intimately close with. So I can go and be like, yeah, man, so this part of this track is about this, and this intimate thing that happened to me. And we
Yeah.
can have that conversation and that can fuel more of the album and things like that. Like honestly, uh I don't know if you plan on talk all the features, but one feature in particular, Delete Glitch on the title
Yeah.
track, he played like a really big role in like how the album wound up shaping up because we had like a really nice conversation that led to him being on that track.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, and that's just
Do you,
off the strength of like people and things.
I guess it's an oxymoron kind of, but do you think the more people you have working on your project, do you think it can get more personal with yourself and your project?
I would say it depends from project to project, but with this project,
Obviously.
absolutely. Yeah, the
Yeah.
fact that like I had these features on here, the features were giving their heart. getting features back and writing my verses, and, and things
Yeah.
like that. Having my friends do like emergency tags all throughout the album, it made it feel more personal
Yeah.
to me. And then like, adding the audio clips and things like that. My friends
Yeah.
helping me with the cover art and the track listing, the singles art, music videos, whatever. Yeah, I would
Seeing you
say,
talk about this album makes me love the project a little bit more. I'm not gonna lie. Like
uh,
I'm gonna listen
much
to it after
love.
this, just so I can like, just now that I have all of this in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna dabble into it a little bit more with this in my head now. But
Word.
keep
Yeah.
going,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's definitely like it's such a personal project, but it's also very much a community affair. I
yeah.
don't know if you go on Bandcamp and you look at the credits are fucking enormous. There's mad names.
I was gonna buy it on Bandcamp, like
Mm.
literally this Friday, but whatchamacallit, I didn't have a phone that day. Just
Oh
didn't
wow.
have a phone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bro, you're good.
I
No
didn't have a
worries.
phone,
Yeah.
but I'm definitely gonna buy it next Friday, Bandcamp Friday, of course. Right? Please
Word.
make sure to buy your favorite artists, albums, of course. Right?
Mm.
But I'm definitely gonna buy it because it is. Bro, like that shit almost made me cry when I first heard it. And it was like 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, bro. I was like, damn, like this feels personal, bro. Like this. And even then, like there was some lines that didn't even feel personal. I spoke to you about this, right?
Mm.
The Dance Revolution on a Rubik's Cube. Like you told me that it was just a bullshit you wanted to write because you had a dream about it when you were a little kid. But it
Yeah.
like felt way too deep for me it felt way too deep for me because I don't know, bro. I don't know. It just felt way too deep for me, bro.
Mm.
It felt like it was intentional, like way too intentional to just
I
be
mean, it
like
was definitely
bullshit.
intentional. It was just like,
But I guess intentional in
it felt
meaning.
like it felt like
Intentional in
the
meaning.
appropriate time for an image. That track is so much about
Yeah.
my childhood. Why would I not include
Yeah.
images from my childhood, you
Yeah,
know?
no, for sure. I actually think that is all the main questions.
Word.
That's all the main questions. So
Mm.
now I want to get to the lightning round
Okay, word. Hit
questions.
me, hit me.
Yeah. So the first question, I'm gonna name three people that were born on your birthday,
Mm.
and you tell me whether they are anything like you, right?
Mm.
So the first person, I Show Speed, Christian Dior, Grigory Rasputin.
I think the only one that I have like full context of is I Show Speed. Is he we actually have the same birthday?
Yes,
You're fucking
that
lying.
you're January 21st, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
y'all got the
fucking
same
lying.
birthday. Y'all got the same birthday.
Well, I don't know. That's a hard question because I only see him in a streaming context. I gotta like,
Yeah,
maybe I gotta like,
he recently bought a kid a PC. Like
oh, that's a kind soul. So
yeah.
I'm gonna say I'm like him because he's a kind soul, and I'd like to be a kind soul.
Bro, he's one of those streamers that I used to not like, but like he took
He's
on the
grown on me.
internet.
The bit I've
He was
seen,
good, yeah.
but it just seems like he's grown up. I don't know how old he is,
Yeah.
but it just seems like he's just older. He's more mature now.
Bro, imagine he was like my age right now when he started like really popping out.
Yeah.
Right. No, I think he was like 16, 17. Actually, I'm lying.
Mm.
Right. Next question. Describe your music in 3 words and explain why.
Um, wholesome
Mhm.
because I don't know. I'm a wholesome nigga. Um, experimental because like I don't know. I be doing shit just
You
to
be
do shit. I
dibble
don't think
dabbling,
it's like
bro.
yeah.
Yeah. If you want that sound, you want that sound.
Uh, is there a word that I could use to describe it as like community? It's community based. I cheated. It's community
Yeah,
based.
it's community
Yeah.
based, bro. Community
Mm,
based. That's good. I like those. I like those.
mm.
You just won the lottery and already paid off the taxes included. What is the first thing you are doing with the money?
Um, buying a place. Low key, I'm gonna go get a nice place.
Yeah,
I think that's probably the first thing I do. Yeah.
yeah. One thing you do in your life you wish more people would do.
Right. I wish more people would write publicly, share
Yeah.
their art publicly, because I think there's so many talented artists that decided to become lawyers instead.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Oh, the biggest
mm,
loss of the community was Stacey Epps to me.
Yeah.
where
Oh
she
yeah. I
yeah,
don't even
she's
know
a
what happened.
realtor. She's like a
What?
realtor now. Yeah, or like she does like some really normal shit. Like she just does some really normal shit.
That shit is so
And
crazy to me.
she literally has one of the best songs off of Mad Villainy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. One assumption about you that people have that is just completely wrong.
I was thinking about this recently. I think people find me like really unapproachable or whatever. I
Damn.
remember I was talking to my coworker, and my coworker, he was like, "Yeah," I was telling the other coworker, "He's like, yeah, you could just go talk to Shamar. You know, Shamar might seem unapproachable." I was like, "Well, I seem unapproachable." He's like, "Yeah, not gonna lie, when we first met, because you just keep." And it's like, bro, I just keep
Bro,
to
you like
myself
give
because
off
I'm
this aura,
anxious.
bro. You give off this aura, bro. I was like low key scared to approach you because I was like, damn, like, is he just gonna tell me to fuck off? Like I don't know you, bro. Like,
I'm sorry.
get
Oh my
out of here,
God, I'm
bro.
so sorry. No, I'm
No,
just
but it,
very anxious.
nah, bro. Don't even say sorry, bro. That's on me because I got anxiety too, bro. So
Mm.
I had to brace myself for like 10, 15 minutes. I was like, I was with my girlfriend. I was with my girlfriend when I was about to send a text, and I was like, baby, do I do it? Do I do it? Do I not do it? Like, bro, that shit, like, bro, doing this, like interviews like this scares me, bro, because I'm scared I say the wrong thing. But
Nah, bro, you're good. Mm.
what's your favorite things about performing?
Um, I like yelling into the mic.
Mm,
Um, I like crying on stage.
mm.
I like turning to Sasko and being like, Sasko, hit X button. It'll be hit the hero pawn button. Bro, I like when Sasko will be on the 404 and he'll just do like
Mhm.
the craziest effect ever. And he's like, yo, that was sick. That was a sick moment. Or like when we do bro, when we do Essex Street, I'll
Mhm.
sing like the thing, there's a reason behind all we do. And then sometimes
Yeah.
Sasko will hit that and it like, oh,
Oh.
ooh, you got chords, you
I can
got
like imagine it.
vocals.
I can like imagine it, bro. I can like imagine it.
No,
But
yeah. I just like, bro, Sasko's my dude. Shout out Sasko. I like
yeah,
performing with
bro.
him a lot, all in
Yeah,
all.
I'm probably gonna interview him after this too, bro, just
Bro,
because you like
Sasko's
spoke
that
about
dude.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, Sasko's that dude.
What's your biggest fear?
Uh,
My bad for getting deep. This might be a deep ass question.
hmm, I think I have like a joking answer and like a serious
Yeah.
answer. And my joking answer is when Atlanta came out, they had that episode where the nigga had the invisible car. So my biggest fear is getting hit by an invisible car. Like I dead ass think about that when I'm like crossing an empty street. Like,
Wasn't that
what
like
is
the
this?
first episode? That's
It was
literally
one of
the
the first
first
episodes. It was
episode.
definitely season
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
love
up
that show
there.
so much.
My serious answer is like all of my fuck ups come to life. I have this one
Oh,
line on like on actually I literally say my biggest fear. It's on like some shit that I wrote where I'm like my biggest fear God decreed life reruns to Peanut. So it's like I go to
hey,
heaven and then God got like a whole row of niggas. And it's like let's watch Shamar's whole life.
fuck up.
And then he
That's
just clicks
tight.
the button and we just watch my whole life and then all of the horrible shit and
Oh, oh
all of my shame
man.
and sheep's clothes.
Oh, I remember this. I
Yeah.
remember this. I literally remember this because that line stuck with me too.
Yeah,
But
all of
I
my
think like
shame just coming to life.
after I finished talking to you,
Hmm.
right? I think it was like the third time I listened to the project and I heard that line and I was like, oh, that stuck with me for some reason. It just stuck with me.
Yeah. Hmm.
And I guess on a lighter note, what's your favorite water bottle brand?
Um, what is nigga, I was about to say Mountain Dew. What is the one with the mountain on it called? You know, the
Irish
greenish looking
Springs?
one?
Irish
Maybe. The one that everyone likes. The one that
Oh,
everyone likes.
because there's two with mountains. I'm pretty sure. I don't even think Irish Spring has that, but I get it.
Yeah,
I get
you
it
you
though.
know. If you see
Yeah.
it, you'll know.
I'm from Florida. I like Zephyr Hills.
I've never even had that before.
It's damn,
Yeah, I don't know shit about that.
damn.
Hmm.
Nah, it's just a water. Damn, do I even have a Zephyr Hills bottle in here? No, I probably don't. Damn. But
Or
that's my favorite water bottle. That's not.
hmm.
It's Kirkland. Probably Kirkland.
Kirkland?
I
That
think
don't
it's
sound right.
Kirkland. Nah, probably doesn't.
No, that don't sound right at all. I don't even. That sounds very wrong, actually. That sounds
Oh
wrong as
hell no,
fuck.
I was wrong as
Hold on. Yeah, that
Alright.
sounds wrong as hell.
But yeah, that was the last question. That was the
Word.
last question for the interview and last
Mm,
question in general. And I really enjoyed interviewing you, right? I knew
yeah.
as soon as we started talking and texting, I was like, "Oh, I'm about to have so much fun in this interview."
Yeah, this is
Like you were
cool. This is
very, you
tight.
were very open. You were super open on text. I was like, "Oh, this dude's about to be like probably my favorite person to interview. He's gonna talk.
Much
Like you're
love.
gonna talk really like right."
Mm,
And I really appreciate you for coming here. And again, sorry for being a little bit late, right?
nah, bro, you're good. You're chilling.
For the viewers watching this, I was like 10, 15 minutes late because I was doing some shit for my mama, right?
Mm,
But obviously, thank you so much for being here,
yeah.
right? And to all the fans listening, to all the people listening, I hope you guys enjoyed. Right? And y'all have a great day. Stay safe. Be blessed. Shamar's music is gonna be on the description. Delete inner city music in the description. And like a GoFundMe, support Gaza, please, right? Donate,
Mm.
please, right? And yeah, y'all stay safe. Have a great day. Be blessed.